And greetings and salutations, everybody. It's time for Friday Night Draw. There's nobody here yet, but this is for all you folks that watched the replay. Oh, wait, somebody showed up.
Ooh, there's somebody.
All right, it's time for Friday Night Draw. I'm here with Rodney Fike as usual. How are we doing tonight, sir?
We are doing great. The Bengals won last night. Spent all day working on artwork. I am as juicy as a piece of cherry pie.
Ooh. Starting it off right.
That's right.
And speaking of starting it off right, since we kind of forgot to do this the last couple streams, and we've gotten a little rusty at it. Rodney, if these fine two folks that are watching us this evening wanted to find you on the interwebs, where would they go?
They can find me on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, just by searching Rodney Fike Art, or they can watch me on the YouTube Hasm channel. But the easiest way they can find me is just to go to the link tree under Rodney Fike, and there will be all things Fike.
There we go. Excellent.
What about you? If somebody was someone inclined to look up Mr. Forney, where might they find you?
Well, they can go to the Facebook, the Twitch, the Instagram, the Twitter, the whatnot, and they can find me on all of those at Sean Forney Art. Go to SeanForney.com, and that'll take you to our web store. Take you to some previously published materials and all that good stuff. Get you links to our digital books and so much more over there. And you can find me streaming on the Facebook, the Twitch, and yeah, where else do we stream? It's not one of those days, folks. The Facebook, the Twitch, and the YouTube, Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern for a little half-hour stream. And then Rodney comes in at 11 a.m. streams on all his platforms. Right. And then you can find us here Thursdays and Friday nights. Thursdays on the Ficus channel on Hasm, and Friday nights on my channels. And I think that about covers it.
I think we're good.
And I know that the StreamYard was probably giving the producer B some struggles, but tonight we're streaming on my Facebook, my YouTube, and your Twitch.
Uh-oh. It happens.
It's all good. I just noticed it because it popped up and it said Rodney Fike is live on Twitch. I'm like, what? All right.
That's
it does the trick. Everybody knows where to find us.
That's right. They know where we be.
Well, you guys are so small.
What?
On the little emblem on StreamYard, you guys are real tiny. And I didn't read. I'm sorry.
I said it's all right. I just thought it was funny because it popped up and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Then I got to thinking, I'm like, oh crap, is it really only Thursday?
Am I pulling a ficus?
I mean, anything could happen at this point.
That's hilarious.
It's a free-for-all Friday.
There you go.
It's not like anybody watches this there anyway.
Right? Speaking of which, should I should probably get the stream shared out. Try to at least attempt that.
You know what I find really funny is our one friend, Mr. Randy.
Randy Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Meh himself?
Yeah, in the comments all the time, it's like, I blame Forney.
All the time.
It's so hilarious.
You see today that that cover was fiked and fornicated?
Yes. He's the best. That's so hilarious.
Oh, he is. He's hilarious. Wish we got to see him a little bit more frequently.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the video stream. Now we can do some shares. I hope this is probably gonna get loud though. Yep, because of course it doesn't want to work the right way.
Of course not.
Why would we do that?
That would
All
just
right, group. We'll share that over there. And we'll share this to the main page. Even though I turned my volume off, it's still making chime. Well, hey, what do you know? Those two folks are here. Cameron's here and Justin's here.
Hey, what's happening, fellas? How we looking?
Cameron says, how goes it? How's the week treated y'all? So ready for the weekend. And Justin says, hello. Well, howdy, howdy. And the week hasn't been too bad, but man, am I beat.
I would imagine.
I've been slinging ink and colors and all sorts of stuff, and raising puppies.
And doing a hazardous waste removal.
Yeah. Thankfully, I got the reprieve from that one this evening.
Folks, you should have been backstage 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, you should. Oh Lordy, it was a big one.
You missed a good one.
Speaking of that backstage, we were chatting about some of the nerd news that was coming out the last few days.
And a lot of it.
Yeah. Where would you like to start?
Well, since it is now officially Spooktober, why don't we start with Werewolf by Night?
Yeah, buddy.
Sean and I were talking backstage. I was perusing the pages of Instagram earlier today, and I saw the making of Werewolf by Night little short video that they had. And oh my God. I mean, I wanted to see it to begin with, but now it's like, oh, when does it start? Where's the popcorn? What can we speed it up any? So,
right?
I'm really jacked. That just looks, I'm going to feel like I'm 8 years old and it's Saturday morning again. I can't wait.
Right. It totally invokes the whole 30s, 40s horror flicks. And I just, I saw that first teaser and I'm like, I honestly thought when they did that teaser at D23, oh, this is just going to be for the teaser. There's no way they're doing it black and white. No way it's going to look like old school horror movie.
Right.
And then they did a surprise viewing for a bunch of reviewers last week. And everybody was just coming out of it just ecstatic. And it was like, no, they totally kept the black and white. They kept the tone of all those classic horror films. And apparently it's pretty brutal. I guess they can kind of get away with a little bit more because it is black and white, but I guess there's some blood and guts getting thrown around and all sorts of goodies.
I can't wait. Not just because it's Halloween season now, but man, I really miss as much as I miss Saturday morning cartoons, I really miss the Saturday morning creature features and stuff like that. That was so much fun.
Well, yeah, and that's like we did it. It's been a few years, but one of the theaters here, it's one of the old historical theaters downtown Columbus. During the summers, they do a bunch of movies, and they do it upright. Like they'll do like one night where it's like the one time we went, it was the original Wolfman, and it was Abbott and Costello meet Wolfman or something like that. And before they do it, and when they do intermission and stuff, they've got the organ player that rises up out of the stage and he plays Phantom of the Opera and, all these the theme from Halloween and stuff like that. He's playing it on the organ and just going to town. And it's like, I kind of miss that. We haven't gotten to do that the last couple of years because, the COVID mess and now it's like the schedule just doesn't work. And I don't even think they're doing any of those horror flicks this time around.
Oh man, that's a shame. If you hear of it, let us know, man. That'd be something be worth coming up and doing it together.
Oh, absolutely. And the great thing is it's like $3 a ticket. Or you can buy an arm's length of the tickets for like $10 or something like that.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah. And they got a little tiny concession thing that they open up. You can get popcorn and sodas and candy and stuff, and it's just fun. And like over the years, like we've not only seen like a bunch of those horror classics, like saw the original Frankenstein, Dracula. Like I said, it was like Abbott and Costello meet the Wolfman, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, or whatever the couple of those were. Bride of Frankenstein. But we also saw Goonies, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And they do Saturday morning cartoons. They play the old classic like Warner Brothers cartoons and all that kind of craziness.
Nice.
And again, they do the whole thing with like the organ player and all that jazz, and it's just a good time.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often on a more regular basis, because you're 15 years younger than me, but like people of my generation and your generation, I think we would all flock to those on a regular occasion because it's just so nostalgic and it's just so enjoyable.
Oh yeah. And I know that we dug it, and the place was usually, I won't say it was packed because it's a huge theater, but it's usually pretty full, especially when they got some really good stuff going. And it just dawned on me when they would do those horror double feature things on Friday night, they would get the local Fritz the Night Owl. He would come out and promote it and host it, and do his little spiel before the movies would start.
Nice.
He was like the local area. What am I trying to think of?
Cable access guy.
Yeah, like like Elvira, but
yeah,
like the male version. I can't think of the big like nationwide one. Goulardi, or however you say it.
Oh, Svengoolie.
Yeah. Like everybody seemed to have one in their town, and those, like he's the local one here.
Yeah,
and
we had Bob Shreves did a Pat's Prime Playhouse every Saturday night. He wasn't specifically horror, but it was like B movies yeah. On a Halloween, he just went all out with all the scary movies.
Yeah. And so it was like that kind of stuff is cool. And like kind of getting back on topic, like that is the total vibe that Werewolf by Night has.
Yeah.
And like even that like little thing when they did that trailer where it's like, the special presentation, it was like seeing a movie on Saturday or Sunday night with the the CBS or ABC special of the week,
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, like we need more of this. And every person I have read anything from that got to go see this like little preview thing that they did absolutely loved it. And the greatest part is like I was like scrolling through Twitter that night. I was like, oh my God, everybody got to go see this. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like reading all these things. And I'm like, I don't follow this person. But I do follow the director and the music guy, Michael Giacchino. He was sharing all this stuff left and right.
Nice.
I'm seeing all these posts from all these people, and he was just eating it up.
I'm unfamiliar with him, so I need to start following him.
Yeah, you definitely do, because you are familiar with him.
I probably am.
He did the so when you go see any Marvel movie since like I don't remember the first one where it's got that big opening intro thing.
Yeah.
That music, that's Michael Giacchino.
Okay, that's right. We've talked about that before.
Yeah. Rogue One, that's Michael Giacchino.
Okay.
Doctor Strange, the Batman.
Nice.
Yeah, that's all him, and this is his first directorial debut. And that is producer A fighting with Mikey. Mikey likes to dig. He's digging into her leg.
Nice. Get her, Mikey. Get her.
Yep. Yeah. Mikey, like it's been warm, since Mikey's been introduced to the house. So Mikey's been used to us like wearing shorts and stuff. And now that it's getting colder, wearing pants, and he's like, "What are these? These are chew toys."
I can sink my teeth into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin, Peter Vincent from Fright Night, exactly.
Yes.
That's another great movie. I'll start watching all these movies now.
Yeah, I kind of started to kick stuff off last night. So our plan was to watch Hocus Pocus 2 tonight, but we just got so entertained with kids and puppies and stuff that we did not start the Hocus Pocus 2 yet. But last night we watched the first Hocus Pocus, and I didn't want to like totally kick into high gear with watching a bunch of like my favorites to watch around this time of year yet.
Right.
So I'm scrolling through, and Disney Plus has a Halloween section set up already, and the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie was on there.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, you know what? We'll start it off with this. So I watched that today while I was working.
That's cool. You know what I watched today? And you'll know why when I say it. I watched Alice in Wonderland today.
Nice.
Doing a little homework.
Nice. So yeah, remind me to talk backstage before we get out of here this evening, because there's actually two folks doing that theme right now.
Oh, nice.
And I'm involved in both of them right now.
It's good to be involved. That's awesome. Okay.
All right, so we dabbled into the Werewolf by Night, which totally left out here like the coolest thing, and I'm surprised I haven't seen like a really super excited text from Mr. Sirloin of Man-Thing is totally in the movie.
Yes. Yes.
And that little behind the scenes thing that you were talking about, you watched, like I was watching that earlier as well, and it's like there was a lot of people going, "Oh, this is just a one-off. This isn't tying into anything." And Kevin Feige comes right out and says, "Oh no, this is totally tying in. This is introducing the rest of the MCU."
And he said in a big way.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's even more awesome.
Yeah. So I am really hoping for Midnight Suns.
I'm so cool. I'm so jacked.
I can't stop laughing every time I start to say it. I don't know if it's real, but I see the meme pop up on like Facebook all the time. I really want a scene where Moon Knight walks into Dracula's castle and asks for his money. I won't say the rest of the line because I can't completely remember it, but yeah, it's good. I don't know if that was actually pulled from a comic or if that was somebody doctored up the text, but every time I see that, I just bust up laughing because it's totally a Moon Knight thing to do.
Oh yeah.
And if the rumors are true about Anthony Starr being Dracula, like perfect setup. Like let's make this happen. Like give me Moon Knight like berating Dracula for his money.
That would be hilarious. And I think probably the biggest news of the week is the old Hugh Jackman coming back to reprise Wolverine one more game.
Oh yeah.
That.
Hey Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time? Sure, whatever, Ryan.
That was hilarious.
That was awesome. I was outside with the dogs, and a friend sent it in a group message to a bunch of us. And I'm like, he all he sent was the image of the Deadpool logo with the slashes in it. I was like, yeah, but is that real? And then as I'm going and like looking to see, go to Twitter and see if it's trending, and I'm like, oh my God, it is real. And he sends the video just as I'm reading that, and I start watching the video, and I'm like, oh, holy crap, they're doing it. I'm like, it's coming back, and the rumors are heavy that he's going to show up in a costume this time around.
Yeah, I heard that as well. And it's funny. I follow Howard Stern on Instagram, and they were playing the reel of when Hugh was on there last when Logan came out,
Okay.
talking about how Jerry Seinfeld was the one that kind of convinced him that this had to be his last Wolverine, and because he was like, Jerry, he said he ran into Jerry at a function, and he's like, Jerry, when did you know that it was time, for Seinfeld to end? He said, you always want to leave when you're on top. And he said, which is exactly what they did with Seinfeld. It was a #1 show
Yeah.
for 5 years running or whatever it was, and he says you don't want to give yourself a chance to go stale. And he says, so that's what I'm doing, and yada yada yada. And of course, they asked the question, well, never say never, and if the money's right, and then they appropriately ended it with him raising his eyebrow and looking at the camera. So
Yeah.
convenient editing, we'll say. Edward's in the house. Hello, Edward.
What's going on, Edward? Yeah, like, they definitely made an awesome flick with Logan, and they pulled it off and went out with a bang.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went out on top, but I think this could be a whole new top for him.
Yeah, I mean, and if you want to really make me squeal like a girl, bring back Cable too.
Oh yeah.
That would just be top notch.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do, how they're gonna play this out. Is Hugh Jackman just gonna be, is he gonna be like, brought into the MCU, in a portal or something? Because I was watching, shoot, I don't know who to give the credit to here. I think maybe it was probably New Rockstars today or something. And it was like, well, at the end of Deadpool 2, he's got Cable's time travel gizmo. He starts, traveling through time. So, hey, maybe that's how he goes and gets Logan, and maybe they jump universes or something. And okay, cool. That brings him into the MCU. And then, is he a variant? Is there an MCU Wolverine that's gonna pop up and be waiting there to kind of take the reins, or who knows?
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking. It just occurred to me when talking about Cable. What is Cable's mutant power?
Like telekinesis.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it's telepathy. It's one or the other. Or maybe it's a mix of both.
Okay, I was just sitting here thinking, he's a mutant, obviously, because he's with the X-Men, but I can't remember what his mutant power is.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive it's one of those two, and he might have some other powers in there that I'm not thinking of. Feel free to chime in if anybody knows any better than we do.
Yeah. Audience participation is encouraged.
But
I don't know.
Do what?
I was like, I don't know. What is it?
Yeah.
What is his power? Let's see. Ouch. Nope. There we go. Okay. All
right. So we talked Deadpool and Wolverine. We got some Werewolf by Night. What was our other nerdly stuff? Well, we got Andor.
Andor, yeah.
First 4 episodes of Andor are out there now.
Andor and She-Hulk. I am really enjoying Andor.
Andor's so good. You know, for a show where the guy running it was like, yeah, we're not doing Easter eggs and fan service and yada yada yada. There was a ton of it in episode 4.
Like what?
That place. If anybody hasn't watched Andor episode 4, spoiler warning.
Yeah, earmuffs.
Stellan Skarsgård character.
Yes.
And Mon Mothma comes in to his gallery or whatever that thing is. That thing is loaded with Easter eggs.
Okay. Yeah, the one trooper in the background.
Yeah, that's the armor from Force Unleashed.
Yes.
Apparently the Shinkari stones from Temple of Doom are somewhere on one of the shelves. I did not catch that one. I saw that one after the fact. There's Mikey, everybody. When he picks up that battle weapon, the like baseball bat thing,
right.
He's like, it's an Utapawan whatever. That's the place where Obi-Wan rode the lizard, but it's also that's where the Grand Inquisitor's from.
Ooh. Detail there.
I'm trying to think what else, but I mean that thing is loaded with them.
Huh.
And some of the dialogue. Oh, and the dialogue that he has about that crystal. And he's like, yeah, it's a kyber crystal from such and such race. That race is like from an old Legends story.
Okay.
That, like they're from like 30,000 years before the events of Star Wars.
Right. I knew it was something, but I didn't know what it was. Hey, Danny's in the house. He says, how about them Bengals? Yes.
Never heard of them.
How about them Bengals? But yeah, and if did you notice the one guy, one of the members of the Resistance team was in the Punisher? I played what's the Data? Was that his name? The computer guy that gives him feeds all his information from Punisher War Journal.
You know what? I didn't see War Journal.
Well, no, I mean he's from the Punisher series with John Barenthal.
Okay, I got you.
And he was also in Nosferatu, who played the girl's dad.
I know who you're talking about, but no, I did not pick up that he was in there.
Yeah.
That is, I recognize the dude from Game of Thrones. The woman Resistance lady, she's from something else too. Now I'm totally blanking on it. I saw something on it earlier today.
I was wondering if she was related to Skarsgård. I thought she looked kind of like him.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Tina looked it up and it didn't. Her last name wasn't similar.
No, but she was in something that we watched and it was like, oh dang it! I'll have to look that one up later because now I can't remember. But now I know the dude you're talking about when they get to that planet, Aldani or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, I did not pick up that was him. Oh man. Oh.
Let's see. Edward says I'm going to get my tickets for Black Adam on Monday.
Sweet. I heard some very strong rumors that Wakanda Forever tickets go on sale on Monday.
Oh yeah, really?
Yep. So be prepared. Is there any big football game on Monday night?
Whatever Monday night football game is on Monday night. I don't know who's playing on Monday night.
Well, there will most likely be a trailer and then tickets going on sale.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know who's playing. I know the Broncos and the Raiders are the Sunday night game, but I don't know about the Monday night game. Can one of the producers effort that, please?
Cameron asked about how about Armor Wars?
Oh yeah, that was I meant to talk to you about that backstage.
Yeah, that's I guess not surprising in a way, since like they hadn't said anything about it like the last 3 events.
Yeah.
So you knew they were cooking up something, but it was surprising in the sense of like I kind of thought like maybe they were leaning towards like canceling this thing or something because like there wasn't anything being said, and then boom, it's getting a full blown movie.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Apparently, let's see, I'm trying to remember how that works. Like the yeah, like brain fart and exhaustion kicking in here. I'm trying to remember like who, how, where, why, and what was like tying into it. Oh, it's Secret Invasion is like tying directly into it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I have a feeling I think there's going to be some She-Hulk and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Captain America: New World Order that ties into it as well. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Sharon Carter is showing up as the power broker, having a hand in Stark Technology getting on the black market or whatever.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Excuse me. It's just interesting that they've kind of been laying these little nuggets out here and there for the last few years, and it's like everything's starting to come together, kind of like the whole Infinity Wars thing. You're starting to see how things are interconnecting.
Yeah, and that's what that's what really intrigues me. Like the whole thing with She-Hulk. It's like on the surface, it's like, oh yeah, it's this, and this, but like, man, they're laying the groundwork in there that like nobody's picking up on.
Yep. Well, that's because the people that are watching it, a lot of they never read the comics, so they don't know. And let's be honest, She-Hulk wasn't the most popular comic book back in the day. I read it because John Byrne was writing it and drawing it. So
right.
But yeah, it's she. I mean, how many years was she in the was she in the Fantastic Four? Thank you very much.
She was in Fantastic Four for a while, and she was West Coast Avengers for a little bit.
Yeah. She's really been a major player for quite a while.
Yeah, so Cameron's talking about the rumor of Harrison Ford being recast as Thunderbolt Ross in the Thunderbolts. I will believe that one when I see it.
I think they have a better chance of getting Sam Elliott back than
That's what I was talking about last night.
Yeah.
Because I saw that rumor, like that rumor got legs real quick. And I saw it and I was talking, Steph and I were sitting there talking and eating dinner. I'm like, I would like to see Sam Elliott come back, just plop him back in the role. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see Harrison Ford do it, but dude ain't no spring chicken, and dude, like, he just retired from Indiana Jones, and Steph's like, he's not gonna come back and do it. I'm like, well, if they gave him enough money, I'm sure it would make him do it, but.
Well, that's the thing. Sam Elliott's gonna be a lot cheaper than Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Did you see? Speaking of people retiring, James Earl Jones is retiring.
I saw that. He gave up all the voice rights for Darth Vader.
Yeah, they're going to use AI to do his voice from now on.
Yeah, I mean, it worked really well on Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
As long as all these companies are doing it and getting the permission, which in that same vein, Bruce Willis sold his digital likeness. He's the first actor to officially sell his digital likeness for deep fakes for movies.
Huh.
If people are willingly selling it and getting paid a hefty penny and they're okay with it, I'm okay with it to a point. I mean, then it's kind of like if they pass away and they keep like doing movies, and it's like because there was a talk for the last couple of years that they were going to make a new movie using Bruce Lee's likeness in something. It's like I don't know how I feel about that. Like,
well,
kind of
it as long as the family's being compensated for it and they're okay with it. I mean, it's inevitable.
I'm with you there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's. I think it's just inevitable. It's the future. I mean, it probably within the next 20 years there are going to be AI celebrities that are going to be just as big as real celebrities.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, hell, the main character from I don't even know the name of the Assassin's Creed, and the big barbarian with the big beard and the red paint across his face. I don't even know his name. Hell, you think, you know what I mean? They're all over the place.
Yeah.
Like a Max Headroom type kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Danny and Cameron. Harrison Ford's like 80. Add another decade to that one.
He's 83. He just turned 83.
83?
Yeah. All right, Princess Peach is done.
Yeah, so I don't see it being very viable that they got him, but hey, I mean, if they do, I'm on board.
Yeah. Why not? It keeps them in the lexicon of things, and I don't want to imagine a world without James Earl Jones's Darth Vader or Harrison Ford. So I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm going to be selfish there.
I'm going to just be Captain Obvious here. If you sell your likeness, you don't own it anymore, though. That's what selling your likeness means. Sorry, Danny. I had to. It's kind of like Thor and Peter Dinklage's character. It's gonna kill you. So what if it kills me or whatever? That's what killing you means.
Let me go on the record right now by saying if some company wants to come pay me several $1 million for my likeness, come holla.
Yeah.
Holla at your boy.
I mean, they ain't selling these things for pennies. They're making some bank.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, Justin's got it. Stephen Lang would be a good choice for Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh yeah, he would.
Yeah, I was trying to think of somebody last night. It's like everybody I thought of is like, oh, they're too old or they're dead.
Yeah, he would be good. Good one.
Like I even thought
yeah, that's a great one.
They did it on Shield. They brought in his underling. Oh shoot, what's his name?
I never watched Shield.
He was in the Eric Bana Hulk movie too. He was the guy right underneath Ross. I think he was General Talbot.
Oh, okay.
like I was like, oh yeah, they could totally bring back the dude that was General Talbot, because he was, next in line, and just, make Talbot Red Hulk and, leader of the Thunderbolts. And I was like, nope, they killed that character off in Shield.
Yeah, that was one of those shows that I kept trying to watch, and it just never resonated with me, so I just stopped. I wanted to like it because, it was Marvel, but I couldn't do it.
I enjoyed it. I want to say it was like the second and third season just kind of like really drug along, and it was like that's when they were like trying to keep it like loosely connected to the MCU, and it just wasn't happening because of all the crap they had going on in the studio.
Right.
And then, man, when they hit the season where they do the Ghost Rider thing, and they introduced the Darkhold and all that, it's like, oh, now we're talking. But basically all that continuity just got wiped out.
Right. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Hang on, I'm looking for color reference. There we go.
Looking for the old color reference.
Good old color reference.
So let's see, we got to talk Andor. We talked a lot of the big Marvel news. I haven't even really paid attention to much else of what's going on.
What is going on? What has been going on?
Justin said he missed the last 2 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I gotta be honest, I think that was probably some of the better stuff they did in some respects. There was some of it I wasn't completely sold on, but
yeah, that's what I've heard. The last couple of seasons, it got much better.
Like I said, that season with them bringing in Ghost Rider and the Darkhold and all that stuff, and they did this whole like tie-in thing with the Agent Carter series that was on, where like they did stuff in the past that tied into the stuff they were doing like present day and S.H.I.E.L.D. Kind of it tied to the Red Room and why am I blanking on it? I think that stuff was all tied to the Darkhold too. It was they based the character off of Hedy Lamarr. It was kind of like loosely based on her.
Okay.
She was, she was like a celebrity, but yet at the same time, she was like this brilliant scientist, and
right.
I think she even, got name dropped in a couple of the episodes or something. But it was definitely like they were playing on that whole vibe.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of female scientists, did you know that Jack Black's mother was worked for NASA? was part of the space program.
I have seen that meme too.
Yeah.
Hey, well, we're talking crazy stuff we've learned from memes and whatnot. Watching watching Jeopardy last night, and I don't remember what I was doing. I like finished off a bunch of stuff in the studio, and I was like going back and forth between like living room and the studio, dealing with the dogs and a couple other things going on, and Jeopardy's playing in the background, and I just happened to catch the final Jeopardy question. And it's like they added black pentagons to this thing so that it could appear better on TV in 1970. I'm like, black pentagons? I'm like, sitting there and I'm like racking my brain. And then finally the little thing clicks and I go, oh, damn it. They're talking about soccer balls.
Oh.
So I quickly shot over a text to Jesse. I'm like, hey, your favorite sport just got mentioned on Jeopardy. It's like, I had no idea prior to 1970 soccer balls did not have little black pentagons on them.
Huh. I was not aware.
Yeah, that one kind of blew my mind. I'm like, huh, did not know that.
Learn something new every day.
Exactly. Some good old useless knowledge for everybody.
Speaking of that, we went to Michael's last night and get some that Ramos piece that I got at the expo framed because we had coupons that were expiring. And last night was the only night that was really good for us to go up there and do it. And the lady there was the lady that's helped us with the other ones. And she was like recalling everything that we had framed in the last couple of months. And Tina's like, wow, you're really good with the memory knowledge. She goes, yeah, my brain is just full of all this useless, all these facts and details, measurements and what people had framed and the sizes and the numbers of the frames and all that. And she said, you sound like him. I said, yep, I freely admit my brain is full of useless knowledge.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got GZDR4EV. I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce that. I apologize. Is there a difference between drawing and sketching? Yes. In kind of a shortened version, sketching would be like loose sketching, not not getting in, doing like tight details. Everything's loose. That's usually what sketching is. Drawing would be more detailed, more time involved, more elaborate. Be a I'd say a tighter finished piece, but I mean that's not always the case. It kind of comes down to the method, the process, and the.
Well, I would think that drawing would be more concentration on the details, the perspective, the angles, the anatomy, and stuff like that. Whereas sketching, you're kind of that doesn't necessarily have to be shape, form, or anything. You're just kind of more of an exercise.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Exercise is definitely in the mindset of what I would think of sketch is. It's again, a drawing can be loose, but it's usually loose, like a gesture. They call it a gesture drawing, but I mean, I would refer to that as a sketch. It's not finished. It's
right.
You're putting a statement down on a piece of paper, a thought, but you're not putting down like the whole, the whole paragraph or the whole
composition.
Yeah. You're just putting little micro parts of that.
And again, these are generalizations.
Yeah.
Because there are artists that, and since we're doing comics, I'm referring to comic book artists that their styles are sketchy. So that's just what they do. But if you're out and you see somebody sitting on a train or sitting in a park and they've got a sketchbook and they're sketching, are they doing an illustration or are they just, what are they doing? It's up to interpretation.
Yeah.
So there's no wrong or right answer to that, is what we're trying to say.
Exactly.
But good question. Thank you for the good question.
Yes. And that came to us from Twitch,
Nice.
where producer B said nobody watches us. I had to poke the bear. Come on.
Well, it's inevitable. You make a comment and then something happens to, it's just how it goes. That's the universe.
Exactly.
Let's see. Cameron says Hocus Pocus 2 this weekend and Halloween ends in a few weeks, plus Black Adam is going to make October really fun. Yes. And also Interview with a Vampire on AMC and Werewolf by Night, which we covered probably before you were in here, Cameron. And for anybody that's did you ever read the Anne Rice novels, vampire novels?
I didn't. I've only ever seen the Tom Cruise Brad Pitt movie.
Okay. I read the first 6 vampire novels.
Okay.
So I'm really interested. They've changed up Louis and Claudia, the little girl. They race-wise, they're the guy from Game of Thrones and Ring of Power is playing Louis, black guy. I think he's mulatto, maybe. I don't know. And then Claudia is a black girl in the series, but she was a white girl. I'm not bitching. I'm just stating.
Yeah, and that, you know what? To be honest, that kind of makes more sense with where it's set.
Yeah. That's I thought of that too, and I was like, well, it is New Orleans in the 1600s or 1700s, so actually the 1800s. So it makes sense. A lot of mixing of races and stuff at that time, and the French and the Haitians and all of that. So yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I do want to see that. I saw a couple of trailers and stuff for it, and like I said, somebody I'm like Facebook friends with or something like that had already seen like an episode or a couple episodes. I'm assuming they had like early access to review it or something. And they were talking kind of highly of it, so it's like I do want to check it out. I did enjoy the movie back in the day when that came out, and
Yeah,
seemed like everybody focused on. All I remember just seeing all that stuff, all the promotional stuff, and all the interviews and everything was like, everybody just focused on the whole thing with Kirsten Dunst. Like, oh my God, she's got to kiss Brad Pitt and blah blah blah. Like, I get it. It's definitely like a controversial thing,
right.
but it's like, I don't know, it was just kind of blown out of proportion, I guess is the
Well,
best way
yeah.
to put it.
I remember people saying, "Have you ever seen Jodie Foster in Taxi Driver?" It's acting. It's make believe. It's pretend. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. People find shit to bitch about. Yeah. So yeah, it's. I love the book. I love the whole premise of somebody sitting down and interviewing a vampire. I just thought that was pretty neat premise for a book.
Oh yeah.
And the guy that they've got playing Lestat this time around, I feel, is a lot closer to, in my mind, what Lestat looked like than Tom Cruise. I'm not saying nothing against Tom Cruise, but I just never thought Tom Cruise was never Lestat to me.
Right.
He just wasn't.
I've heard other people say that, and I get it. It's kind of the same thing as him playing Jack Reacher.
Yeah, exactly. It's just he's wrong for the role.
And that was I didn't see any of his Jack Reacher stuff, but seeing Alan Richardson doing it, it's like, yeah, that's Reacher.
Yeah,
Um,
and they speaking of that, they just released a picture of him holding a thing saying they started production on season 2, started filming season 2.
I know, I'm so excited for that one.
Yeah,
And Steph told me the other night, even though she told me, she was like, "Hey, Jack Ryan's coming out December 21st." In my head, I'm going Jack Reacher. I'm like, well, they just announced the cast. How are they gonna get that out on TV so soon? And it didn't dawn on me until the next night. And I tell her, "Hey, Jack Ryan's coming out December 21st." She's like, "I told you that last night." I'm like, oh, I thought you were talking about Reacher.
pay attention, Forney.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to both of those because Krasinski kills it on that show.
Yeah, I like him. I've only seen the first season. I haven't seen the second season yet.
It's good. Um, and the guy he's partnered up with his boss. That dude is great.
The black guy.
Yeah, yeah. I cannot think of his name.
Yeah, he was in The Wire. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
But yeah,
Window
just
something.
pumped to see both of those shows.
Yeah.
Let's see, I get caught back up in the comments. All right, Cameron and Edward talking about Hocus Pocus 2. Yeah, I'm gonna probably watch that tomorrow. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Black Panther 2. Yes, I mentioned earlier, Black Panther 2 tickets are supposedly going on sale Monday. New trailer possibly on Monday as well. That is what some of the scoopers are saying, the ones that are at least reliable on stuff.
Yeah, Cameron, that's supposed to debut on halftime at Monday Night Football. I know he's going to be watching Monday Night Football.
I'll just be waiting for YouTube to have it.
There you
go. Let's see. Oops, totally just dropped my pen. And just said, no creatures were stirring, not even a Drax. He stood so still that Santa would not see him. Nice. God, I hope that makes it into the show. That'd be awesome. Edward is going to watch Hocus Pocus sometime in October. GZDR4EV says, no problem. Always wondered if what you were doing on stream would translate to working as a police sketch artist. I always figured drawing comes from your imagination, where sketching comes from a source like someone in front of you. Again, all kind of open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Sketching can be done from the imagination too. Do it in my sketchbook every morning before I start work. And drawing, same thing. Drawing more so than anything is going to be what you're doing from looking at a source, because drawing, like Rodney had pointed out earlier, drawing is when you're paying attention to like your details, like your perspective and stuff, and that's where reference is going to come into play. But again, I mean, these are kind of like loose terminology. I was just kind of thinking of sketching is fast.
Yeah.
You're just doodling. You're trying to throw down stuff quickly to put down a thought, basically.
Yep, exactly. Actually, go ahead, finish your thought.
I was just I'm reading. Justin said Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise are real vampires. Tom Cruise can use the Force. Edward says he knows how to use a meter.
A meter?
An e-meter. Edward, we might need some clarification on that one. I'm sorry, I don't.
An e-meter. What's an e-meter?
Yeah. Cameron says one of my favorite vampires is Spike from Buffy. I still have yet to see that show. House of the Dragons starts shooting season 2 in March. And DJ Hotto's radio show says hello. Well, hello from YouTube. Thanks
Hello.
for tuning in.
Yes, absolutely.
The Scientology e-meter. Scientology dig going clear. All right, guys, we'll take your word for it. I have no idea.
Back to the police sketch artist.
Yeah.
Friend of ours told us at the Comics Expo, and you might know him, William Grapes.
Oh, yeah.
He is now officially a sketch artist for the Cincinnati Police Department.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he's been working with the police department for several years now. We're doing like clerical stuff, I think. And he found out that you could like take courses and stuff online, and he kind of fell into it. And he was like, well, sure, I can do that. And now he's an official sketch artist for the police department.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm mixing up my names with like projects and whatnot, but I believe William and I worked on Scott Bachman's book together. Am I thinking of the right person?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. And we got to see him in a couple years.
Yeah, he was a couple tables down from us at the Cincinnati Comic Expo.
Excellent.
Yes, which was a phenomenal show, by the way.
We might have to chat about maybe coming down and doing that one next year.
The closest thing that we've experienced to pre-COVID crowds since the end of COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, and people were spending money. So it was nice.
Excellent.
And I got to meet my buddy, my Facebook friend, who we share the last name except for one letter difference, and was walking around one of the times stretching my legs, and he was over sitting in Ryan Kincaid's booth and found out that he's friends with Ryan Kincaid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But he's the guy that I did a Death Dealer sketch cover for.
Is it Terry? Am I thinking right now?
Yeah,
okay,
Terry. Right. Yeah. Super nice guy.
I know the name, but I got to be honest, I can't say that I've met him, but I'm not positive on that.
Yeah, he came up and introduced himself. Met a lot of Facebook people at this show. It was awesome. And the other thing that was really awesome, and let me give a shout out real quick to everybody that came up and they were familiar with Roadkill Rampage from the streams and from the Kickstarters and stuff. And we really got a lot of pub from that, which was really a nice surprise. And everybody asking what we had available and really anticipating issue 3 and all that. So
excellent.
Thanks everybody for the support and everything and all the kind words. And it was just a great show. All around, it was a great show.
That's awesome.
I got to talk to Humberto Ramos for a couple of times. The one time for about 20 minutes, him and his handler. And I'll tell you a story backstage that I can't share with the public that's hilarious.
Excellent.
That you'll enjoy. But yeah, it was a great show. We had a good time. And yeah, definitely. I think the crowds are back.
Good.
They were for this show, so that's good. DJ Hatu says, nice to meet you. I like to draw pictures. That's why I came here. Well, you came to the right place.
Yeah, you did. Well, thanks for joining us.
That's what we do. Okay.
Edward says food. I guess it's maybe because we haven't talked about food enough yet. I don't know.
Speaking of that, I'm working on the script for Pitter Patter 3. And, we switched it back. We switched it up. We were going to go one direction with it. We decided not to go. that direction, and we switch back to the other direction. So I'm writing a script, and I send producer B a clip in work from Ghostbusters. It's the Twinkie clip. And I said, okay, I need you to watch this first. And then you need to call me because I need to read something to you. So she watched it, and then she called, and I read what I had written to her, because we have this rule about food,
Right.
We talked about it. And she was like, no, that's funny. That's okay. We can keep that because that's hilarious. I was like, sweet.
Nice.
So, yeah. Issue 3 is going to be hilarious.
Let's see. Justin chimed in and said, I thought Amazing Vegas was a smaller show, but my local show was its usual packed self. Nice.
That's awesome. Glad to hear that.
I do want to try to get out to Vegas.
Yes.
And I wouldn't mind checking out the FanX show that's in Justin's backyard there. We are slowly putting together some plans of what we're doing next year. I know I've talked about it a few times while streaming and whatnot. We're working on it. We just got to be very selective on what we do, because well, now there's another puppy that's got to get boarded and whatnot.
Although I am very excited that we are doing Colossal Con together again.
Yes, got that rooster call already.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be lit.
Get a couple of those good big size drinks in us, and we'll be ready to take on the world.
I might be bringing my flask to add to that big size drink.
Right?
I don't know how much alcohol was in that, but it looked awesome. It tasted really good.
I don't know that second one I had that night. We were sitting there waiting. It was our last night there, and we were sitting waiting for dinner.
Yeah,
there was definitely enough in there that night.
I think that was just from being so hungry.
Well, yeah, there was that too. It was hungry. There was exhaustion, but it was like I drank that, and I was like, I'm just gonna curl up here at the table. I'm tired.
I'm feeling no pain. Yeah, that was a good time.
Yes. And I don't know what it was there you said with the feeling no pain, but it reminded me of a Van Halen lyric. And just gotta say, if you didn't get to catch the Wolfgang Van Halen performance at the Taylor Hawkins tribute show the other night, he did a amazing rendition of Panama.
Really?
Yes. It's all over the interwebs right now. It was Dave Grohl was playing bass. Justin Hawkins from The Darkness, singing, and I'm blanking on the drummer's name right now, but yeah, they the first tribute show that they did in the UK, they played On Fire and Hot for Teacher, and then the other night, the one they did in California, they did Panama and Hot for Teacher.
Actually, I've got some friends that went to that.
I do too. I was kind of bummed because I was like just scrolling through Facebook, and I'm like, you jerks. Like,
yeah. We ran into them at the little art festival we went to last month, and they said they were flying out to LA for that concert.
Nice.
And then he posted all the videos. It was 6 hours long.
Oh yeah, I streamed the UK show. They had it available on Hulu, and so I streamed it. It started at like 11:30 in the morning. We were still watching it until I think like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, my buddy, one of his posts was that the people sitting around them were leaving to go because they had to go to work in the morning, but he said they stayed for the entire 6.5 hours.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, is a very epic tribute that they put together for the guy. I mean,
That's awesome. I mean, if you've ever been to a Foo Fighters concert, it's very easily almost a 3-hour show, and we've seen them twice. So just double that.
I've not had the pleasure to see that. I don't know what the guys are planning on doing at the band now, but I was watching, like, this is really neat to see, like, how the guy interacted with all these people, and basically interacting with like people he idolized. And I caught a little bit of the video yesterday while I was working, and it was like Def Leppard came out on stage to play with the guys, and I always get a big kick out of, like, especially with what we do, and it's like, you and I nerd out over other creators that it's like we look up to, or we just think are the bee's knees, whatever. And I always get a kick out of, like, when I watch like David Finch stream, and like he nerds out over another artist coming on to stream with him, the same that you and I would probably nerd out if Dave Finch would agree to stream with us or something.
Right.
But to see these guys up on stage, they're freaking rock stars that have been doing this, making gajillions of dollars, whatever. And the guitarist from Foo Fighters gets up there, and he's like nerding out because Phil Collins handed over his original Ibanez Destroyer and that he recorded Photograph on, and they're getting ready to play Photograph, and the guy is like choking up talking about it. Because Phil's like, "Here, take this, play the song." And just see these guys like totally nerd out, like their heroes are on stage with them right now. They're playing tribute to their brother and all this stuff, and it's just really cool to see that kind of thing.
Yeah,
where people actually come together and do some good for the world.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. I think it's we, like you said, we do what we do, and it's a community. It really is, just like musicians are a community. And yeah, so and we can totally relate to the geeking out stuff because we do it. I mean, I did it with Ramos. I mean, I've met him so many times, but it never gets old. And he's such a gentleman. And he's so gracious. But I could just talk to him for hours. And we talked about the amount of detail that he puts in his work. And, he talked about how much he loved doing that. And because there was a cover to one of the Amazing Spider-Man issues. And it's the cover where Peter and Mary Jane are standing on top of an antenna kissing.
Okay,
yeah, the New York City skyline in the background. So when I got there on Friday, Andrew, the guy that owns and runs the show, he was standing there and he was flipping through he had a portfolio of covers, and he had a portfolio of interior pages, and he had stacks of other pages outside of that. Well, Andrew was looking at the covers, and he was looking at that page, and it was $8,700. And I was like, wow. And I walked up to Andrew, and I kind of whispered in his ear. I was kidding around. I was like, Andrew, he's my favorite artist, one of my top 3 guys, and I just think that would make a really great Christmas present. So I was just messing with him, but I didn't think about it until like that night when I was at home. I didn't really look at it because I saw the $8,700 price tag on it, and I was like, oh geez. But so I was thinking about it, like I want to go see if I wanted to see the pencils, and I went there and it was gone, and I was like, oh man, it sold. So I left. I was there very briefly, and then I came back, and I said, I have a question. And he's like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, that cover. I said, did you hand draw that city? And his handler, he was a really nice guy. He says, oh, you mean this piece here? And he pulled it off from under the table, and he said, yeah, somebody bought it, so we put it away, saved it for him. And I said, do you mind? Can I hold it? Can I look at it? And he's like, yeah. So I held it, and they were gracious enough to allow me to take a picture of it. And that started the conversation. He hand drew that city. And you've seen that cover.
Yeah.
So you know how much he's like, yeah, that's how he nerds out. That's what he loves to do.
Oh yeah.
And he was going to be an architect. That's why there's so much detail in his buildings and stuff, because he was initially going to go. His father wanted him to become an architect, but he just loved comics so much, and against his father's wishes, he pursued that. And then he said, because to honor his father and his wishes for him to become a architect, he always put his heart and soul into all of the architectural renderings and stuff to honor his father, which endears him even more to me, because I just think that's Humberto Ramos. So if you guys have never met him, he is one of the most gracious, humble human beings you will ever meet. You would never know that he's a superstar comic book artist. He is just unassuming and just an absolute sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah, I mean, my really one and only interaction with the guy, and I know I've told you about it because it involves you. I went over the table to get Francisco's book when I was at Comic-Con years ago, and I walked over to the table, and Humberto was the only guy there. The handler wasn't there, Francisco wasn't there, nobody else was there, and he was like, "Hey, can I help you?" And I was like, "Hey, I want to get this book." And he's like, "Okay," tells me what the price is, and I pull out my credit card, and he's like, "Oh, you got to come back." He's like, I don't have a credit card reader." He's like, my agent's not here or whatever. I'm like, "Okay, no big deal. I'll come back." And again, I know I've told the story, but every one of us has, heard that story a billion times. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to come back." Yeah. And it never happens.
Right.
Well, I made good with my word. It was, maybe an hour or two later, hiked my way back over there, and he's like, just starts tugging on the handler dude, like, hey, you gotta, give this guy a deal. Like, he actually came back to get this book. Yeah, because it was, it was like hardcover book.
Right. Yeah.
$30 or whatever. So it was like, they were happy they were getting a good sale. And he was so thrilled that I actually made my way back over there, and he was just like he wanted to sign books for me or do this or that, and I'm like, "Dude, I flew out here from Ohio. I don't have anything with me." And he's like looking at the handler dude, like we got to do something for him, and I'm just like, "You guys, I just want to get the book from a buddy, like it's no big deal." And he was like, he wasn't gonna let me leave that table unless I got something. And so I ended up I grabbed a Spider-Man print from him, because he was just he was like, he wanted to repay that kindness of me actually coming back, whereas I'm sure he heard it all weekend, like, "Oh, I'll be back," and never saw him again.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, again, it's just, that's the type of guy he is, and just super nice.
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely. All right, let's catch up on these comments. So what did you think of the epic first trailer of Last of Us coming out next year on HBO Max? I'm super excited. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know if I've seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about it. I know it's a game, but I've never played the game or anything.
Then Justin says, "I hope it stays true to the game. Some of it takes place in Utah." Oh, that's cool. Edward says, "Yeah, I still have to finish that concert. I had a lot of stuff to do." Cameron says, "None of it does. They replaced Pittsburgh with Kansas City, which is fine, but otherwise it's sticking pretty close to the game." He says, "Oh, y'all missed a freaking fantastic show last weekend at Memphis Con. Just so much fun, and got so much art, and got to hang out and help the angry artist William Russell with his booth. So that was awesome. Y'all definitely need to come to Memphis." Speaking of William Russell, creator of Serious Cycle goes on Kickstarter on Monday, 9 a.m. And Edward says, "I still remember the episode of Buttman and watching him draw a drawing of Kevin Smith and everybody. Comic book man."
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's one of those shows, Cameron, that is definitely on the radar, unless it conflicts with Cincinnati, because that's here. That requires no travel, so that's going to win every time.
Yep. Yeah, pretty sure A and I talked about it. We might try to venture down for that one if there's tables available. I know he kind of gets close to selling out every year after the show's over.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice.
Oh man. Oh.
And I didn't realize William Shatner was there this weekend.
You got me on that one. I didn't know he was there.
Had a really awesome sketch duel with Jay Fosgate. I just love Jay Fosgate. He's just such a great guy. Okay. Let's see. There's an old gentleman. Can't remember his name. Sweetheart of a man, and he's walking around all hunched over, and he's in obvious pain. He's sweating profusely, and he went around to everybody that participated in the sketch duels this weekend at Cincinnati, and he had a piece of Bristol board, and he had printed on it Cincinnati Comic Expo 2022, and he had all the artists sign it, and if they were willing to do a little sketch on it. And we were the last sketch duel on Sunday, and when we were done, he asked us all to stay, and Krista Olia, who runs the sketch battles, he presented this to her as a thank you for doing the sketch battles, and that was the cool thing. There was the place was almost full. So there were people attending the sketch battle, which in previous years they weren't due to COVID or whatever. But she was completely taken by surprise. And I knew he was going to do it because he stopped and had us, do it. But she was completely just flabbergasted by it. And I wish I could remember the guy's name, but I just thought to myself, my God, do something for this guy, because he's every show, man, you see him, he's hunched over and he's in pain. It's like, y'all need to give him a free pass or something next year, because this was nothing he had to do. He did it from the kindness of his own heart, and she was on the verge of tears, and it was awesome. It was really awesome, yeah. So one of those all moments from the show this weekend. So the so Mr. Impossible on She-Hulk, or Impossible Man? Which?
Mr. Immortal.
Mr. Immortal. Okay, here's a question, and I can't remember, so I'm going to ask it. Isn't that the guy from the Great Lakes Avengers?
Yep.
Okay, so that's the same character.
Yep.
So he looks nothing like he does in the comic.
Yeah, from what I'm familiar with in the comics, no, he does not look like the comic interpretation of him, but still so flipping cool to see him show up in there. And
yeah. Well, the reason I ask is because doesn't he end up in the Thunderbolts or something?
He starts the Great Lakes Avengers because he finds out what the Thunderbolts really are.
Okay.
And then Clint gets wind that he's using the Avengers name when he forms the Great Lakes Avengers, and so they go and sue him. I don't know where the story goes from there. That's part of what happens.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I found out yesterday, or I was reminded. I was looking up Jim Lee did some Alpha Flight issues. His first issue was issue 53, which they credit as his first professional work, but they also credit the Hawkeye miniseries from the 1980s, which I believe introduces Mockingbird, but I can't remember for sure, so don't quote me on that. But I've got that miniseries, and I was kind of shocked to see that was his stuff.
I've seen the Alpha Flight stuff, but not that.
Yeah. And the Alpha Flight stuff doesn't really look like him because Gary Talek is inking him.
Okay.
And Gary Talek is not the best inker in the world. So it doesn't look like Jim Lee stuff.
Yeah.
The covers do, but not.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think he inked himself on the covers.
Yeah. Yeah. The covers, it looks like him. The interiors do not look like him. If it gives you any point of reference, Gary Talek also inked Magnola.
Oh, wow.
On that book as well. So, yeah. Two very different styles, same inker. That's why it didn't work.
Yeah. Oh, Edward thinks he's getting a sinus infection. Well, Edward, hope you feel better. Get a good night's rest. Hope everything goes smoothly.
Yeah, those are no fun. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, well, it is getting to be about that time because I am like yawning and like drifting off here. And
oh, wow. Damn, that went quick tonight.
yeah, it did. Well, before we close out for the evening, Cameron asked if you're ready for football this weekend.
Yeah, it started off. Had a good start with the Bengals win last night over the previously undefeated Miami Dolphins. So good for the Bengals. So yeah, go Tom Brady and Bucks against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's gonna be some good games. So I'm ready for it. Cameron and I always text back and forth during Bengals games, so it's fun.
Excellent.
It's a good time.
All right. Yeah. Can't keep from yawning. Any wise words or anything to tell these fine folks before we get out of here this evening?
No, let's see. Come join me tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. We're on Independent Comics Network for Sketchy Saturday. I'll be there with C. Michael Lanning and Marv T. and John Silvestri, and we'll be working on stuff and talking nerdy. So come check us out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Excellent. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. And as always, you can find me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff at Rodney Fike Art. That has a YouTube channel, or you can go to Linktree and search Rodney Fike. What about you?
Hit up the Facebook, the Twitch, the Instagram, the Twitter, the whatnot, all at Sean Forney Art. Search Sean Forney Art on the YouTube, and hit up the website, SeanForney.com. Oh, and don't forget to visit and join our groups if you haven't yet. The Thursday Night Throwdown, Friday Night Draw Facebook group, and the thanks to Robert Martin's now named Forney Fanatics Facebook group. Go join those, because the groups seem to send out notifications a lot better than our individual pages do. So if you want to keep up to date with all the crazy stuff, I highly recommend joining those.
There you go.
And I think that should about do it, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us this evening, and come back, join us next week at some point in time. We'll get all that posted of when we're streaming and good stuff. And yeah, have a great weekend, and we will catch you all on the next one.
All right, everybody. Bye.